well with the assignment, I think there's just a little bit of confusion. Okay, so if you remember in class, there's two kind of models that we can do. And I'm just looking through the emails, and remember I said you can do categorical. So that's when we predict something like yes and no. And remember, I showed the example for the Phytophthora, where you actually have the map and we predict whether it's present or whether it's absent, okay? So that's if we're using that phyto column, which is like yes, no, okay? You're following that? And then we've got the dieback, which is almost like the incidence of the disease or how severe it is. So that ranges from 0 to 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that kind of thing, okay? So for your approach, there's kind of two options. I think an easy option for you, because obviously you've got the code written and everything's working. You've got all of your linear and GAM and random forest training and tests, which is really good. So what you can do is you can go back and instead of using the 0 and 1 that you converted from yes and no, you can actually just put dieback in there instead. So just remodel with dieback. Yeah. So you can do that. So the good thing about our code is once you've written it all, you can just change it very easily, right? So you can just reanalyze again by just using dieback instead of the 0 and 1. So my suggestion to you when we talked a few weeks ago was that instead of doing the dieback, that you just do a classification model. So just predict the presence and absence. And obviously in class, we did soil organic carbon, which is numerical. But, we did show some examples of how you can predict classification stuff. So with classification, you could do like a tree model and then like a random forest model as well. Yeah. Remember I talked about that? We said you can do tree and random forest and that should be fine. But I think, because it is a few days before you have to do your presentation, I think the easiest thing for you to do is to just change it to dieback now. So you model dieback rather than the yes, no. But yeah, do you have any questions around that or? Have you got your code there? Have you got, do you want to share your screen and we can have a quick look at your code? Sorry, I can't share my I just can't show my camera. For some reason it's not working today. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to email it. But I think, it's clear from that table that you've produced that it's that you've got your code sorted, right? It's really good. You've got your test, you've got your training. What you've presented there is pretty much exactly what I'm expecting you to have for your assignment, which is good. The only thing I think you've got a little bit confused about, obviously the yes, no, and then the dieback. Okay, so because most of the examples that we did use was on numerical stuff, which is like more similar to dieback, it's probably going to be easier for you to implement that. Whereas, because what you're trying to do here and what you've showed me in this table is basically you're trying to predict yes and no. with values of just 0 and 1, which tells me why you've got quite poor models, and that's why you're struggling to find the difference between them all. Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah, I think but you've yeah. Well, I mean, everyone's data set's different, right? Some people have huge data sets where they're modeling animal disease across all of New South Wales. Some people have got yield mapping data sets with 50,000 rows of information. So everyone's data set's quite different. So don't worry about that. And when I'm marking, I'm obviously going to take into account the challenge, because some people have quite simple data sets, but I'm going to take that into account, and I'm going to expect for them that, their analysis is a bit more detailed. So don't stress about that. Okay. Um, yeah. So, I mean, one thing look, I might try and share my screen here. Just 1 second. Just got to get the data up first. What can you see? You can see that now. So what we did in, actually, I'm just going to pull the slides up, and I'll just show you an example, because I sent you the paper, didn't I? Where they predicted the presence and absence. Do you remember that? I sent you that paper. No? So I would have sent you the one by Bishop. So here's the example we used, which is your data set, is this, soil-borne fungal pathogen, okay? And your data is somewhere up there in the north. So what, sorry for my coughing. These are the observations here. This is just an example. But basically what the map we come up with is you can actually a prediction method to assess the probability of pathogen being present. So the relationship between the presence, absence of the pathogen based on the spatial data layers, okay? So here we use the tree model, which is quite simple like that. And then we use random forest, okay, which is like a more complex one. So what the final map look like, right, is basically a map of the presence or absence of Phytophthora. Red being a high level, high probability of there being a presence, and green being a very low probability, okay? So that was when we talked a few weeks ago, that's what I was saying that you should do, okay? But obviously, now that you've gone ahead and done numerical stuff, I think predicting the level of dieback is a better option for you, okay? So what I was saying before is that you just model this as a category, okay? But see this here, we've got dieback, and we've got quite a lot of values in there, but there's quite a lot of NA values as well, okay? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to just subset that, okay? You're going to have to just use this part of the data set, okay? Or just the ones with, no NAs. Do you know how to do that in R? Do you know how to do that? Someone's calling me. Because I mean, that's the easiest option. But if you want, you can do the categorical stuff. It's really up to you. The only problem with doing dieback is that there's obviously a lot fewer values to model with. Yeah. So I'll leave that up to you. Okay. But if you want to send your code through, I can help you out. Okay. Just let me know if there's any problems. Yeah. And if you get stuck and you have questions, we can set up a Zoom and we can go through it. Just if we do that, make sure you got your code ready and we can go through the code together. Okay. Alrighty. Any questions? Okay. All right. Good luck.